So as Miami Dolphins fans, we're not going to have a lot of football to watch. If you want to watch the XFL, go ahead. That's your prerogative. If you want to watch bad football, go ahead and watch bad football. Personally, I have a hard time watching football that has bad quarterbacks at play. It's just, if you don't have good quarterbacks, you don't have good football. And if you're in the XFL, when there's already plenty of bad quarterbacks still playing football, then you're not a good quarterback. But if you want to watch the XFL, I'm not here to judge you. Watch it all you want. I wish it was good. I really do. I really wish I could watch the XFL. But that does mean the NFL, with the Super Bowl done, we have a lot of offseason now to just roll out the carpet and just see what happens. But to see what happens, we have to follow a little schedule. Times and dates are going to be coming into play here that starts to get the ball moving towards the 2023-2024 season. And that all starts actually later this month. We're in the month of February. I'm recording this February 16th. It's probably going to go out tomorrow, February 17th. But February 21st, that is less than a week away. Teams can begin this date, 4 p.m. on February 21st through March 7th. Teams can designate franchise or transition players. So you can slap the franchise tag on players. You can designate the players. So starting off very soon, decisions are going to start to be made by, a handful of players now across the entire league. A handful of players across the entire league, and usually those guys aren't your star players, but designate put the franchise tag on players. Miami Dolphins, Mike Gesicki, that's the name that you might see for us come into play. Then February 28th to March 6th, the NFL scouting combine in Indianapolis. Now, the Dolphins don't have a first-round pick, so the draft is a little less exciting for us. So we're going into that, not going to have a pick for a long time. So the big names you're going to hear talked about, and every year, of course, that's always quarterbacks, but all the players that are expected to go on the first day, you're going to see a lot of coverage on them. Unfortunately, as Dolphins fans, there's not really a possibility of us getting those guys unless they slip, or hey, you never know. We might trade up. I highly doubt we trade up into the first round, but hey, you never know. And obviously, we don't have our first round picks because of cheating and because of trading for Bradley Chubb. Then that starts February 28th to March 6th. Then we roll into the month of March 2023, Tuesday, March 7th. Deadline for clubs to designate franchise or transition players. So, like I said, that starts just next week. The deadline for that is going to be March 7th. And then March 13th to 15th is basically the tampering period. Players that are going in as the unrestricted free agent, teams, as like the Miami Dolphins, can go and get in contact with them, get in contact with the team, the player's agent. And this is the time you hear a lot of, oh, this deal's done, but it's not done. And I wouldn't be surprised if a little tampering happens around the league, as we know as Dolphins fans, tampering happens we did it too. But that's the time where that's where the deals really you start to hear, oh, this is going to get done. It's not done officially yet. So you might hear March 13th, let's say the Miami Dolphins signed Fletcher Cox for a 2-year deal worth $12 million. It's not official yet until we get to the start of the league year. The league year officially starts March 15th. 2023 league year starts officially March 15th, and free agency begins at 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, March 15th. That's a Wednesday. That's when the league starts. That's the official start of the league year, and free agents are free to sign. So the first day the Miami Dolphins can officially sign a new player is March 15th. Remember that date, March 15th. That's the first day we can sign any player in the league. Prior to 4 o'clock, clubs must exercise all their options for 2023 players who have the 5th-year option. I believe that is what that is saying, because I know I saw that at one point down further. Or I thought I did. No, the 5th-year option is later on. That's May 1st. That's the deadline for the 5th-year option. So what did I just read? I forget. They must, prior to 4 o'clock, must exercise all options for 2020 players on all players who have option contracts from the 2022. Okay, that's what it is. If we have a player that's on their 5th-year option, we then have the option to keep them or not keep them at that point. Anything else for March 15th? New York Times, clubs must submit qualifying offers to restricted free agents. So anybody who is a restricted free agent that isn't going to hit the general market with with the beginning of free agency. That's when they must submit those qualifying offers for the players. I believe that's what happened with Nick Needham this last year. The qualifying offer the Dolphins slapped onto him, and now have to try to re-sign him yet again. March 26th to the 29th, the annual league meeting. Not really a big deal for us. Now, that is where some new rules gets discussed and just a bunch of rich people talking, and I don't personally really care, to be honest with you guys. Rich people talking is not the most exciting thing in the world to me. And that's at the end of March, the 26th to the 29th. Monday, April 3rd. Teams that, so this doesn't apply to the Dolphins, but teams that have hired a new head coach, they can then begin their offseason workout programs, those OTAs, the optional training activities. They can then start that on April 3rd. But teams with returning coaches, a la the Miami Dolphins, on April 17th, Monday, April 17th, clubs with returning head coaches like the Dolphins may begin their offseason workout programs, which include 10 OTA days and 1 mandatory minicamp. So that's when you'll start to see some practice videos. Like last year, those first videos coming out of Tua with Tyreek Hill. They weren't any routes per se, but we just saw them doing, just tossing the ball back and forth. You're not going to see a lot of plays per se from this. Like, so that's going to be a little later on into like June, July, August, when you start seeing videos of Dolphins plays. We all remember that cannon over the top, cannon Tua to Tyreek, and the whole world blew up because like, oh my gosh, Tua can throw the ball beyond 5 yards. Basically is what that was. But April 17th, OTA start. Wednesday, April 19th, deadline for clubs to set test, visit, interview, conduct, physical examination for a draft player. Basically bring anybody in to the facility that they'd like to examine, potentially to draft. That's the deadline for that. April 21st, deadline for restricted free agents to sign their offer sheets. So if the Dolphins slap an offer sheet on a restricted free agent, if it's not signed by April 21st, they are officially a free agent, unrestricted, and they can sign wherever they choose. They are a free man. April 26th, deadline for prior club to exercise right of first refusal to first free agents. So that one's a little more confusing. If you are a restricted free agent, the team can put on what's called a right of first refusal. Honestly, probably should have looked that up before coming into this because I forget what that means. But anyways, if you know what it means, congratulations, because I don't. Thursday, April 27th, deadline for clubs to time, test, visit, interview for physical draft. Didn't I just say that? Maybe I accidentally read. Deadline for clubs to time, test. It seems like the same. So April 19th, I'm just reading this out loud. Deadline for clubs to time, test, visit, interview, or conduct physical examination with a draft eligible player at its club facility. April 27th, deadline for clubs to time, test, visit, interview, including video and phone calls, or conduct physical examination with a draft eligible player at any location. Okay, so that's a slight difference. The 19th is the deadline that we can bring them into the Dolphins. However, up to the 27th, you can do tests wherever. If they live in Idaho, you can fly out to Idaho, do some tests on them, do an interview on them. That process is done on the 27th because on the 27th, that is when the draft starts. So the last time you can visit them is the same day of the draft, April 27th to the 29th. Dolphins, obviously, no picks on the 27th. All Dolphins picks will be the 28th and the 29th, assuming all goes according to plan, as I expected to. April 27th to 29th, that is the draft. Just a few more dates for you. May 1st, deadline for clubs to exercise fifth-year options for players selected in the first round of the 2020 draft. That's what I was just talking about. And that includes Tua. That includes Austin Jackson. That includes Noah Igbenogany. So kind of sad. You look back at that year, and we have 3 players from that year, and really not sure on any of the 3 of them. In fact, with Noah Igbenogany, and honestly, maybe even Austin Jackson, I'd be okay if the team moved off him this year. You look at the players that we could have drafted. We could have had Justin Herbert. We could have had Justin Jefferson. We could have had Jonathan Taylor. Could have had J.K. Dobbins. We could have had a whole host of guys. Could have had Diggs from Dallas. There was a lot of guys we could have had, but here we are. There is a chance that all 3 players' fifth-year options could be declined. I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm just saying that's where we're at. So, yeah. May 5th through 8 or May 12th through 15th. So this one's kind of still up in the air. Clubs may elect to hold their one 3-day post-draft rookie mini camp from Friday through Saturday or Saturday through Monday on one of the 2 weekends following the draft. So that's not actually in the air. It's just up to the teams to decide when they want to do that. May 22nd and 24th, this spring league meeting. That day is to exactly determine. Again, just brings people coming together and talking if they want to do anything different. And then mid-June-ish, teams wrap up their offseason program, and then a little bit of time before July and August, and all the fun really starts to get going of the NFL season. So that is the important dates for the Miami Dolphins, as the offseason is pretty much here upon us after the Super Bowl, of course. If there's any dates that interest you and you want to see explained a little bit more, probably Donovan will explain it for you if it's something that I was confused about myself. But let me know down below. And any Miami Dolphins topic that you'd like to see us talk about, that's, of course, if you're watching over on YouTube. If you're listening in on the radio, I really appreciate it. Please go subscribe to Miami Dolphins Syndicate or my personal channel, JK Productions. But if you are watching over on the YouTube channel, please let me know down below if there's any specific subjects you'd like us to cover as the offseason goes on, because it's a long offseason and there are a lot of topics that we are going to be covering. But if there's anything specific you'd like us to talk about, please let me know down in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching.